Hello, Jesters, and welcome to this third episode of our podcast.
Indeed.
Is that right?
Third episode. Yeah, it's right.
Third episode. Whoa. Hello, James. How are you?
Hi, I'm excellent. Hello, Jake. How are you? Are you doing well?
I'm
it's
wonderful.
Fine morning. It's
Absolutely
almost morning.
wonderful.
Let's be honest. It's pretty early. It's not that early, but it feels early.
Too early for me.
So we haven't been here in our podcast studio. Let's call it that. We haven't been here for a whole long time, actually, since before the Oblivion remaster Shadow dropped in. When was that? End of April.
Yeah, I guess it was.
I'm a little older than you, so my relationship to Oblivion is that I actually played it the first time it came out. The first time it came out is such a Bethesda thing. But yes, when it released, I played Oblivion and loved the feck out of it. You have a different relationship to it.
Yeah, well, I remember playing the arena back when you had it. But
not Elder Scrolls Arena. Let's just
not the Elder Scrolls Arena, just the arena part of Oblivion, and that's basically all I remember. Sure. And I was too young to understand anything what was going on. So
I feel like you still are. But
I did for sure, definitely. No, but
yes.
my first real Elder Scrolls was Skyrim. So I'm playing Oblivion for real for the first time, and I'm having a blast. I think it's a great game.
A remaster is a fun thing. It sounds so exciting for me as a nostalgic thing to be able to replay one of my favorite games of all time. And then I did it. No hate on Virtual Studios. Done an amazing job with the remaster. It's beautiful. It performs well. It's great. It's a great remaster. It almost made it feel like playing a modern game, like almost, right?
Yeah, close enough.
But what's the point? Like for me, and I think that's because we just talked about this before we went. It's not really for me, probably. It's probably more for you. It's a new generation to get to play. Because if you started playing the old Oblivion, you would stop immediately.
Yeah, I think you're completely right. I mean, I always, ever since I loved Skyrim and played it for the first time, I always wanted to play Oblivion. But seeing the graphics and the gameplay of like the old school, the original Oblivion, just made me, that's impossible to go to after Skyrim. So I think for me, who's never played Oblivion, it's amazing with the remake. To kind of have that feeling of playing the old game, but with a modern twist, which is definitely needed. For me, it was super weird as a hardcore Skyrim fan to play an Elder Scrolls game where I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea where to go, who to talk to, what quests were fun to play, what I should start doing, what weapons to get, what armor to get, all that. So I was just, running around for the first 20 hours doing basically whatever just came along. And now getting more into it, I'm almost done with the Dark Brotherhood, I think. I'm in the middle of the Thieves Guild. Great quest lines. It's starting to feel a bit more like home, a bit more like that Skyrim feel of having played it a lot and kind of knowing what to do and when to do it and stuff like that. But in the beginning, I was completely lost, and that was actually a fun thing.
Playing it now, Oblivion doesn't have the same amount of world,
No, for sure not.
And when you go out of the cities and out of the quest lines, it's pretty much an empty wasteland.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's why Oblivion works so well for me at the moment, because every location feels like an unmarked location in a way, because I haven't experienced any of it. So even the Imperial City or Cheydinhal or Anvil or like those places that people know and love and remember, I haven't been there. So it just feels amazing to explore even the big cities and the main areas, also the Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary, all those places.
So in terms of Skyrim versus Oblivion, the cities and like settlements, who has the best of those?
Maybe I'm just biased because I'm playing it at the moment. I will go with Oblivion.
Yikes.
Maybe it's a hot take.
Oblivion has the better cities. Okay, let's go to the next one. NPCs.
Well, you can kind of go into two different directions with that question. Skyrim.
Quests?
The most difficult one for me. When I thought about it, can I go with a tie?
Let's go with a tie for now, but you have to choose at the end.
Okay.
And then combat.
Skyrim, clearly.
All right. Story, and that I just mean like the main story, basically the main drama of the game.
And that I will have to give to Oblivion as well.
Interesting. I think Oblivion kind of wins this little matchup then, right?
I think it does, and I also thought about that, and that doesn't mean that I necessarily enjoy Oblivion more than Skyrim.
That's the next. What if you just have to pick Skyrim or Oblivion?
Skyrim any day.
All right, let's hear some thoughts then. How did you end up there?
Yeah. Okay. So what was the first one?
That was cities.
Cities. So again, I mean, I love a lot of the Skyrim cities. There are also some that I don't like as much. Markarth. I think that what I've seen so far in Oblivion, I've been to all the cities multiple times, and I love them a lot. All of them,
Weird
actually.
flex,
And I think
but okay.
they are very, very different. I love Cheydinhall. I love Anvil. I love Coral. The Imperial City is great. I think also Burma or whatever it's called, that up north.
It's Bruma.
I just think they're so different. They have their own unique style. I talked about that earlier in another podcast, that I like that when it's very distinctive where you are and what the vibe is of the city, what the culture is. And I think it's very different in Oblivion. I think the art style of all the cities are great. I think it's easy to find your way around while not being too generic. So at the moment, that's why I've gone with Oblivion.
I think in Skyrim, I think it's the fantasy element, because I think in Skyrim they were kind of, not in a bad way, but tied down by this kind of Norse, like Viking culture, right? And that means that a lot of the cities, at least, not all of them, but a lot of the city are kind of like stuck in that, that's the style, right? They have like pretty much Viking towns. And of course, like what is it, medieval European high fantasy, whatever vibe that's going on in Obliv. It's
I would
like,
say.
but I would agree. If I had to choose, I would also go Oblivion there.
And I think it's completely spot on when you say that in Skyrim, it's most of them have this Nordic Viking vibe. In Oblivion, there is Cheydinhall has this more of almost a fable vibe. Then Anvil is closer to like Dragon Age, Witcher style. Bruma is very Skyrim, of course. Then the Imperial City is. So it's very different, the atmosphere you get just from traveling from city to city.
Then you said quests.
Having played most of the Thieves Guild, most of the Dark Brotherhood, a lot of the Mages Guild questline in Oblivion, I actually think, and this might be a hot take, but I actually think the guild quest lines are better in Oblivion. A point for Skyrim is the Daedric quests, because I love Daedric quests in Skyrim. I think they are awesome. I think A Night to Remember, House of Horrors, the Mind of Madness, or whatever the Sheogorath quest is called, they are all awesome. And so far, the Daedric quests in Oblivion are definitely not as well done, basically. Quick disclaimer, I haven't played a lot of the Oblivion main quest yet. I am the hero of Kvatch, but I haven't played the rest of it, so I can't really speak on that behalf. I would say that I'm not a big fan of the Skyrim main quest. I love Skyrim for a lot of other reasons, except the main quest. So that's basically why I've gone with Oblivion. So far, it seems better.
Skyrim is a game we all love and talk about. We have some, most things are great, and we all know which things we all love, but I've asked you to find some underrated items and things from Skyrim that you don't feel get enough love. And do you wanna set that up?
Yeah, so I thought long and hard about this, because I think it's a difficult question, honestly, because Skyrim has been talked about so much on different forums, different places, and has so many fans. So almost, I mean, we know, as you say, we know what we love. We also know what we hate, but what is actually underrated? Which is always a difficult question.
It is. Yeah.
But you asked me about an underrated quest. And I've chosen a quest that I know a lot of people have played and a lot of people love, but I think it's simply one of the best quests in the game when it works. And that's because I'm also a sucker for like true crime and stuff like that. So I've gone with Blood on the Ice.
Blood on the Ice, Windhelm.
We are in Windhelm.
Wanna just recap what that's about?
Yeah, we actually made a video on that at some point. And it is basically this mystery that you have to solve. And you just kind of stumble upon it. I think when you walk through the graveyard, there is a woman, and that whole quest is super spooky and not like very grim also. And I just love playing a little bit of Detective Dragonborn also.
It's fun because it's one of those types of quests. When you see it, you're like, obviously this needs to be in these kinds of games. Like, because people love these kind of, I guess you said true crime is giant. I don't know how big it was in 2011, but it's giant. It has been giant ever since. Remember in The Witcher, The Wild Hunt, there is this kind of long, it feels long. There's this long sequence where Geralt kind of has to go and look at people who has been unalived and stuff, and find out what happened to them. This is kind of a detective. I think it's in one of the cities, or maybe you remember more.
Yeah, I think it's in Novigrad. When there is this vampire, I think, who's gone on a spree of unaliving.
You also asked you to look into, was it weapon and armor?
Yeah, I've gone with an armor, actually 2 armors, and they are both expansion armors. Because I feel, all the armors from the main game, we all love the Nightingale and the Ebony and Daedric, Dark Brotherhood, Thieves Guild, all that.
Well, we've been over it. I don't like.
You hate Daedric.
I think it's overrated, probably.
What I have gone with is the Stalrim armor from the Dragonborn expansion. I think it looks awesome. It's very good. I think it's cool that you can only get it on Solstheim, and it's like exclusive to there, and you have to have this special pickaxe to mine the ore as well and stuff like that. So I think that's a cool looking armor, and I love it.
I think that expansion's done really well. It's when they add like new types of materials and designs, right? And Stalrim is his own, tree basically of smithing. Yeah. And I think you also go back to Oblivion when it had the Shivering Isles. I think we got, was it called Madness?
Yes.
And what the other one was, the golden one. And like they add these special ones that feel like connected to the expansion. I think that's why Stalrim also for me stands out. Yep. Yeah. Sorry, I was interrupting you. About to say something.
But that's a perfect segue, because based on that, I think the honestly very underrated, cool looking and quite good armor is the Dawnguard armor. You only get it by joining the Dawnguard. It looks cool, and it's kind who doesn't want to be a vampire hunter?
Is it a little Thieves Guildy in look? I feel it's like a leather.
It's Thieves Guildy, but a little heavier and more like a badass.
It's very nice. Yeah,
I think it's cool, and I think just the look of not only you knowing you are a vampire hunter, but you look like a vampire hunter, and with the crossbow and everything, that's cool. And speaking of underrated weapons, the crossbow, that's a great weapon.
Like I feel like the whole crossbow thing feels a little, I can't really put a finger on it, but it feels like a little like it doesn't fit the world of Skyrim to me.
No, but that's just because you love being an archer.
I love being an archer, and this is like all this modern technology. What's next? What's wrong with using your big muscles drawing your bow? Why does it have to be? Yeah, it's like it's the same with AI and the internet, and like everything's scary.
Yeah.
No, but like I don't know.
Yeah, well, I have because you also asked me about underrated NPCs.
Right.
Which was very difficult to come up with.
Yeah, because what's even the criteria there? I don't know what I was thinking.
No, what is the criteria? And I actually came up with someone that I think is quite underrated, because it's a she. I don't hear anyone really talking about her, but I think she's quirky, she's sassy, she's a nice character. And that's actually Babette from the Dark Brotherhood.
Ah.
This vampire child who's just sassy and murderous, and I just...
Fun character, yeah.
She doesn't seem, of course she's a child, she looks like a child, but she's whatever, like 200 years old.
That's actually a great one. It's a very unique character that's kind of interesting because of the backstory and all that. I think it's a little bit of a shame that she's just a generic child.
Yeah.
Like, design-wise, when you do this, I know she has like she probably has vampire eyes or something, I don't remember. But other than that, she's just this classic potato head kid, right? If we sat here now and did a top 10 characters in Skyrim, a lot of them would be relatively unique, either their outfits or their design or voice actors, of course, and all that. But I think, good shout. I think she's a little bit of a hidden gem.
Shout out to Babette.
I have also prepared something.
Yeah, hit me.
And this was also a little hard. Even though I asked myself the question, I was like, this question doesn't make sense. Sorry. I tried to find some things that is annoying to me when I play Skyrim.
Yes.
And it's, if you have to guess something that I think it's annoying and unnecessary in Skyrim. It's not unnecessary in terms of story, but
I definitely know what you're talking about.
What is it?
Dragons.
Yeah, dragons. It's, when I play Skyrim, I don't start that main quest line at all, because I hate just, being out and about, and then this dragon just comes along for no reason. I understand if there was just Alduin and party snacks and whatever they're called, and then you had to deal with those guys. But this thing, like this generic, bandit dragon that just attacks you out in the middle of nowhere, who cares? And it's annoying, and they're just invasive enough. You can't just like mudcrab them away. They take just enough time to like deal with, right?
And they never land, so you have to shoot them in the sky with, and they're impossible to hit, and it's awful.
It's awful. It's an awful system. Whoever came up with, like, radiant dragon attacks or whatever that is, I understand that as a design thing, it sounds cool. What if you were just in not Hellcat, bad example. What if you were just in Riverwood and a dragon came down and burned the city a little? But it's not fun. Because what is the point of a Skyrim game? It is to do what you want. And that's the game deciding the next 5 minutes you want to deal with this.
You know a game franchise that does dragons very well? It's almost in the name.
No, I don't.
Dragon Age. There are only like 5-6 dragons in the game. They are optional.
I feel like
always,
I should have guessed that. Probably.
And they are, you should have. But they are always optional. They are like extremely hard boss fights. And you don't have to do it. It's just like a random arena somewhere if you really want to go there.
They're either really specific boss fights with a ton of reward. That's also a thing about Skyrim Dragon is, I know you can take the soul of them and use them for shouts, but shouts that I've never used unless I have to. But it's also just like, if you take on Flemeth or whatever, it has a big impact, right? And then there's, of course, the archdemons that are connected to the main quest in a way. But I don't think,
that's done extremely well. And Skyrim could definitely take from that.
I'm just going to go down the list. We might cut some of them out. They're not all winners. But you won't know.
But you're a winner.
When I'm a winner. Things that shouldn't be fighting you that choose to fight you. Like, if you walk around and you are like a man, how often, Jake, if you go to the beach, how often does a crab just attack you out of nowhere?
Every single day.
Okay, but you do have that face.
I do have that face, that punchable face.
That annoying face. If I was a crab, I'll be all over that face.
That Will Ferrell punchable face? No.
Oh, wow. But it's like, and also like, a fish just attacks you. It's
That's super annoying.
It's annoying because we all know that then you can't fast travel and all that. So I don't see the point. Let's say you're the Thane of, what is it called? Whiterun, right? Mm-hmm. We all know you have this like, ooh, I am a Thane. Could you please feck off, sir? And that always works, I think. Like, it doesn't ever not work.
No, so it always works.
So it's like that's this whole little game of like me accidentally clicking the guard when I'm trying to take a sweet roll behind him. And then he's like, I know you've been caught and whatever. And then I have to like listen to that BS. And then I have to go down and click the Thane thing. For the 50th time with Steve, the guard that I talked to that day, I tell him that I'm the Thane. And he's again like, oh, you got away with it this time or whatever. And then 2 seconds later, he goldfishes and I accidentally click him again. And now he again wants to arrest me. And I have to go down and click the Thane thing. And I'm like, this is a weird loop, man. If you want to hang out, then just say it. Right?
I completely agree. It should be like after you become the Thane and the leader of the companions and all that, then you're just like excused. Then you could do whatever you want. And they just don't care. They just turn their back. It's like, oh, okay, he's the Thane.
There's 12 people in the town. I'll be very worried if you didn't know me. There's like, you see me 400 times a day, and there's 11 others in here, right? Like, and I'm the only one that's the Dragonborn. So like, they have capital punishment. That is it. Right? And of course I can choose crime. I can choose to go to jail if I'm lucky enough to have a conversation with this psychopath. But a lot of the times it's just 4 guards coming at me with axes. That is the punishment, right? Oh, I got all worked up about.
No, but I completely agree. It's a good call.
And then I think sometimes the NPC you have to talk to has decided to go home, and you're not allowed to go talk to him. Right? Yeah. And that means that you go inside and all they want to talk to you about is that I'm trespassing. And I have just saved their child. And they're like, you're trespassing? Yes. And I'm like, I just wanted to click you so I can finish the quest. I have to go out and wait for 12 hours. Like, you were just before, man, you were really worried about your child. And now you want to wait 12 hours to get the news even though I'm here? Let's move on. We have one more little thing here to do, I think, which is, do you want to set that up after a little break?
Mm-hmm. So next point on the agenda, I have picked out some games. You have picked out some games, some great games, I hope, because we're gonna try to match them up against each other and then quickly see what game is better. Basically,
it's kind of like a card game, right? I play my card and you play your card, and then we try to find out what's the best one. Even though that's obviously subjective, but hopefully we can agree. We've chosen, I think, about 10 games each. We can play whatever game we want. We can only play one game once.
Yes.
On our list. We can't play the same game, of course, if that happens. We haven't seen each other's lists.
So this is a list without Skyrim. I'm just going to delete it because I had it on my list. Spoiler alert.
I also had it on my list.
But I have 11 other amazing games lined up as well. Also games you haven't played, some of them, I think.
That's how it is. Then you have to then it's just a fight. Then we just have to fight until we agree.
Like a physical. I will find you and I'll fist fight you.
I can't wait. Do you want to start? Since I think you should start.
Okay, let me go with this one. I will start us off with Dishonored. The first one.
All right, that's
I love.
I'm gonna hit it with The Wolf Among Us.
Oh, great game. I love Dishonored for what it is. The stealth assassination story is great. The vibe of the city is amazing. The Wolf Among Us is probably the best of that kind of like the Telltale genre.
I've not played Dishonored. I know what it is. I think it looks great. I think from my point of view, Dishonored is a very good version of a game that's been done other times and exists in other ways, like these stealth Assassin's Creed games, basically. Yeah. I might be a little wrong, but I think The Wolf Among Us I would go with. Not so much because it's hard to put them up against each other, but I think it's just generally just a very unique and more important game in its genre. So
and an amazing game. Argument, and I think we're getting a second one soon. A Wolf Among Us takes the first point.
Just 1-0. I think I should start this time. Then you have a better chance of hitting me with something that trumps me. The Last of Us.
Oh, that was my pick.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Oh, that's such a good game.
And it's the first one. The second one is also fine.
Yeah, I also had the first one. I think if I will go with, are you ready? Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, man.
Such a good game. It is the whole package. It's a great story. It's an amazing world. It's immersive as heck. It's so good. The only thing I don't love about Red Dead Redemption 2 is the combat and the gunplay, which is great. Could be better. Don't get me wrong. I love The Last of Us. It's such a good game. Best story ever in a game, probably. But Red Dead, come on.
The Last of Us is such a finely curated, story-based, 12-hour or whatever, perfect story game, where Red Dead Redemption 2 and 1 to a certain extent is this kind of beautiful big worlds that you can live in and exist in and really just spend 100 hours in. I think we will have to go with the Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yes! It's so good.
Right. 1-1. Okay, you get to start.
Oh, one of my personal favorites. Very nostalgic game for me. Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
So I'm gonna hit you with nostalgia as well.
Okay.
Because then we have that. Fable 2. It's one of my top 3 games of all time in a sense. Of course, it's not as good as your game. Like, in a sense, right? So, like, I think... Yeah, what do you think?
No, I kind of think the same, actually, because off
Black
the top
Flag
of my
is also
head, I would actually say Fable.
Any other Assassin's Creed game, it would be easier to argue the same thing that I just argued on Dishonored, that it's kind of an iteration of something they've done before. But Black Flag is just Black Flag, and it is so just a unique experience.
Probably the best pirate game ever made, one could argue.
I think it's best for you to make the final call on this, because I love Fable 2. I have played Black Flag. I also am aware of the position Black Flag has in the world of history of gaming, in a way. So I think you've played both and loved both, so I think you should make the final call on this.
Well, then I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to go with Black Flag.
You know, that's how it is. Let's move on. I get to start now. See, I need a point, so I'm gonna go with Dragon Age Origins.
Oh, yes. Amazing. Well, I have something that's very fitting. I will go with the Dragon Age Inquisition.
Okay.
I won't argue too much. I think Origins is the better game. I love playing that a lot. I took Dragon Age Inquisition because it's bigger, it's more, it's newer, it's prettier. But I think story-wise, companion-wise, the choices you take through the whole thing, Origins is just a better game.
It's hard when it's different eras, right? Of course, Dragon Age ran so Inquisition could walk or whatever. You could also argue that I think in a lot of ways the Veilguard is a better game than Inquisition.
Yeah, probably.
But it has some big minuses that the writing isn't very good and stuff.
And that's almost the most important in a Dragon Age game, so...
I would say so. I think that's 2-2, isn't it?
2-2?
Maybe we should do best of 3.
Let's do it.
But I started, so it's actually you that gets to end it up.
So it's my turn. So this is actually the final round.
It's the final round.
I will go with one of my personal favorites, The Witcher Wild Hunt.
Oh, Wild Hunt. I knew it was coming.
And that is also, just a side note, including both DLCs.
Of course it is. That's gonna be rough. I mean, I only really have one game on this list. Let me take you through my ideas here. I feel like the game that most closely matches the level of writing in Wild Hunt, for me, is Mass Effect 2, probably.
Oh.
I don't think that game would I wouldn't be able to convince you that it's better than Wild Hunt, and I'm not even sure that I would be able to be convinced. So then we can go new and go, for example, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which I think is very close to Wild Hunt.
That would be a good contender.
Not so much the, of course, the fantasy parts, but in a way has a lot of the same vibes. You could also just get classic and just get the like popularity points by saying like Fallout New Vegas, for example. I think I'm gonna go Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Yeah, good call. I mean, I haven't played it.
You have not played KCD 2.
I haven't played it yet.
We both played Wild Hunt.
Yes.
If I had to, okay, let's take the hats on. I'm gonna put on my lawyer hat, and even though I love Wild Hunt, let me say why I don't think it's better.
Yes.
I don't think it's better. I think it's too long. I think it ends 800 times. It's kind of like Lord of the Rings, the last one, whatever it's Return of the King. It ends for like 40 minutes, and I lost interest at the end in the story. I did. I loved it for like 80% of it, but at the end I wanted to just wrap it up. And I think that for that reason alone, like it overstayed its welcome slightly, and that put it from a 10 to a 9.5 maybe. Where I said that before on the record that I think KCD2 is a 10 out of 10. Also, with the caveat that I'm not yet I'm almost done, but I'm not entirely done. What is your response, sir?
Well, I definitely see the point of The Witcher Wild Hunt being very long and ending for 20 hours, in a row, basically. The thing is that I like the game so much that it's never enough. It's like spending, if I could spend 500 more hours in that game and that world, I would, because I think it's so fun. I think the gameplay is great. One minus for me with The Witcher is that sometimes the gameplay mechanics are a little awkward, a little quirky, rolling off the edge of a mountain just by hitting the wrong button or not going in the right direction, camera angles. But I think the world, the combat, the monsters, the story, the characters is so great.
I actually think that one of the because I played both The Witcher 2 that I loved as well, Witcher 3 as well. I think one of my minuses from The Witcher, and I'm not a big combat guy, but I did think the combat in The Witcher was kind of tedious. Like you have like 3 runes and 2 swords, and that's basically what you spam. And I was not one that prepared a lot for battle with all these kind of things you could do, traps and contraptions. But I think it got there's a lot of fighting in The Witcher, and it's quite hard, and it's a little tedious. I don't think that it's not varied enough for me. What do you think about that?
I think I came from basically playing Skyrim before, so for me it was a big upgrade. But comparing to newer games like, for example, Kingdom Come, or if we go Souls-like with Elden Ring, stuff like that, of course the combat is not the best. But again, I think it's just the world and the music also. Oh my god, the characters
so good.
That just kind of make up for it. But I could agree that maybe the Witcher main game is a 9 out of 10, and then I would say that both DLCs are like 11 out of 10. So I think
I've not played. People, what is it called? Blood and Wine. People love that one, right?
The best DLC ever made in any game, I would say.
Well, maybe Shivering Isles.
Oh no, not having played Shivering Isles, I can't even imagine.
And I haven't played the other one, so it's a great debate.
Great debate.
No, but I think it's an interesting. We are leading towards an answer, but it's interesting because these two games, famously, you play a defined character in the Witcher franchise, Geralt, and it looks like you're gonna play Ciri next, as a main character. We have played her before, but it's and your Henry obviously in KCD 2, so it's like that has that in common. There's like this medieval European world, Czech Republic, Poland, whatever that also KCD 2 is taking place in. And you have this like little side. You have Gwent famously in that. You have a very good dice game that I forgot what it's called, different things, and they have a lot in common. But we have to make a choice.
Well, I think you could argue that both games are 10 out of 10, and it depends on whether you're more into this realistic medieval playstyle vibe world, or if you're more into the fantasy.
I'm having a great time every time I sit down and play KCD2, but I think in a certain way the little sauce that's on the Witcher franchise, the world, it is just more memorable in a way, and I love KCD2, so it's hard to say, but I think it left a bigger impact on me in some way. The Witcher 3, even though it has its downfalls, I think we're gonna have to give it to the Witcher 3.
Well,
so you won.
Hey,
fun.
Great games.
But I think this was a fair victory. I think The Witcher 3, I didn't even think to put on my list weirdly, and I don't really know why.
No, and when you said also Fallout New Vegas, I thought about that I have no Fallout games, which is also very strange.
It's kind of telling, yeah. And also telling how many, I mean, we did have new games on our list, but a lot of them are also older of date, and a lot of the big franchises are not at the strongest. We talked about that, right? With Starfield coming out was, I don't know if it, and of course with the newest Dragon Age, which again, we both kind of liked for what it was, and maybe we didn't maybe share a lot of this. We were maybe not as upset about it as some people were. I think it was a fine game, but it's not like a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10
No, for
game.
sure not.
Interesting stuff, but congrats.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for the game.
Yay. Just before you go, the classic question, what are you playing at the moment?
Well, goes without saying, I am playing Oblivion.
You're playing Oblivion.
And I'm having a great time.
Mm-hmm. Are you playing any other games? Like, you're playing Doom, the new Doom coming? What's it called? Dark Ages?
I finished Doom Eternal. I haven't started the new one yet. I actually had Doom Eternal on my list of games because I thought that was basically one of the best action games I've ever played. Shooter games is so great. So great.
Yep.
And before that, I was actually playing Dying Light, which is that zombie parkour apocalypse game that I wanted to play for years. I have never played any of them. I was having also a great time. Super fun. The traversal system is amazing. One of the best parkour games I've played. Yeah. So definitely a shout out to that as well. And what about you? Are you stuck in Oblivion?
I'm not playing that much Oblivion right now. I'm of course trying to finish up whenever I have the time. You know, KCD2 is one of those games you can't play for an hour. You have to wait till you have a lot of time. So it's not that often that I play it, but when I play it, I do it for hours. For more short bursts, I mean, last night I played Scrabble Digital with my girlfriend. But more importantly, if I have to plug something that's maybe a little more interesting, I play this, roguelite, all these cards games and stuff where you deck builders and stuff. I'm playing one called Rogue Book, the same people that made the card game called Feria. And I've been playing that a lot recently. It's really fun. It's from like 2022 or 2023, I believe, but it's not entirely new. But it was just on sale, and it was really cheap. And I said, let's give it a go. And I can recommend if card games and stuff like that is something. It's really easy to get into and fun. So
nice.
That is what I'm playing. Anyway, thank you for participating.
Thank you for listening. If you're still here. Guys, we are on Instagram, Jesters Tamriel, Jesters of Tamriel, whatever. We do Elder Scrolls content, as you might have guessed.
It is, just to be specific, it is at Jesters Tamriel on Instagram. Yes. That's about it. Have fun in Cyrodiil next time you're there.
Thank you very much, and have fun playing Scrabble.
Thank you. I'm learning a lot of new words, that's for sure. Have a great day. See you.
See you.